Welcome to Tandem Canon, the Game Restrict podcast where co-op play is canon, and when there's a will, there's a motherfucking way. Ain't that right?
Yeah!
This is episode 49, Will Made Real, where we'll give a shout out to the developer, Volition. This is Tiffany.
And this is Mia.
Alright, let's go straight into the talk from Team Tandem. So, Mia, what have you been up to for game or homework?
Playing Sims 4. I've been playing with Zerbu's Go to School mod, and in order to be able to use it, you have to have Go to Work installed, but it allows you to install and create custom high schools where you can actually follow your kids to school, and there are different activities, and you can declare your favorite subject, gain points, and level up. So the only problem is there are times where it can be a little bit buggy and laggy, even when you don't have a lot of kids on the lot. So that's the only thing I'm kind of struggling with right now, but it's kind of nice to be able to follow my kid and see what they're doing. Other than that, I've been continuing with The Secret of Monkey Island. I finally beat the Sword Master. I'm so proud of myself. It was kind of funny because it didn't really feel like I wanted it. She was just like, I think she was just tired of seeing me like, can you just go? Because her comeback wasn't even that great. She's just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm through dealing with you. Go here. Just take the damn thing so you could go. Get out my face. But I did beat her, and so it was just like, yay, I'm finally triumphant. And I'm at the point now where the governor has been taken away, and this ghost ship took her. And so now I have to go find her and get off the island. So that's what I'm working on right now. And it's full of fun times. So what about you, Tiff?
I played a little bit of Destiny, but not really much. But I did play Overwatch, and as of right now, and hopefully this will change by the time the podcast posts, I've made to level 98. So I have a couple more levels to go before I hit that 100 mark that we were trying to achieve by the end of the month. So yeah, I'm so excited to finally get there. And I actually was able to play with a group of people that were give or take 70 plus to 90. So hopefully I'll be a part of the 1-star gang soon. I also managed to get the Sims Mobile. It's kind of a replacement for the Sims Free Play on mobile and tablets for about 3 or 4 years now. It's a mixture between that and the Sims 4 with the Sims 4 like graphics and mechanics. So far, it's a mixed bag. I have to give them credit for the customization. There is so much customization here in the game when you develop your character that it seems like it shouldn't even exist for a game of this caliber because it seems like something you will have for your PC or even for the console itself. But I love the custom play because you can also custom between already set parameters, but you can also adjust it with a sliding scale. So I thought that was awesome. A variety of different skin colors, so it's not just one color denoted for everybody. At first, it's a little off-putting because when you select the different hairstyles, makeup choices, and clothes, you realize it's because you have to unlock it. And of course, that's what a lot of problems people are having with is the microtransactions in the game. I believe the leaderboard had done a comparison of what it is for this new generation of Sims games now, especially in comparison to what free play used to be and what the Sims 4 is presenting and how Sims Mobile is trying to go forward from here. But I will say that this generation is really storyboard generated between your hobbies, your careers, your friendships. Each of them have a different story to represent. So you can have one based on soulmates, one of geek best friends, or sports fanatics. It's good, but sometimes can be a little tedious. Go to the leaderboard and have them explain what the difference is and just watch some gameplays. I'll probably say a little bit more on the next go around. I play it every day, but I did find something creepy. Apparently, I've not aged my sim up because once you age up your sim, they're no longer controllable. So there'd be like a little ghost in your house. The Grim Reaper follows your sim around in their old age. That is creepy as all kinds of hell. Life already sucks enough. I don't need the Grim Reaper up there stalking my ass like a bad Lifetime movie.
It's like, you done yet? Wrap it up.
Like,
we got things to do.
I have to go nab your neighbor at 11 o'clock, so can you hurry this death thing up? So yeah, but I'm enjoying it for what it is.
So I guess then going off of news, Shadow of the Tomb Raider will be out this fall. Yeah.
I'm so sorry for that creepy laugh, but I saw this and I was freaking stoked about it.
Yeah, so it'll be out September 14th, and the 30-second teaser trailer just dropped, and it looks like it's going to be taking place somewhere with Mayan backdrop. So this is going to be interesting, and people are hyped up, especially considering that the movie Tomb Raider just came out. So Tiff, you want to talk about that?
I enjoyed it. I I liked it. It's a lot better than a lot of game-based movies. There was quite a few older people in there that I think were just a fan of Alicia Vikander, but not realizing that this was actually like a movie based on a video game. They just thought that she was a female Indiana Jones. It is better acted than a lot of video game movies. It had like a lot of gravity when it came to the character growth of Laura, even though her personality and how the history of this character is a little different in this movie than what is built in the video games. Kind of hard to even like go into that without giving away a whole bunch of spoilers, because I do recommend whoever's a fan of this movie that you will definitely enjoy it for what it is. And it definitely gives you a lot of game feels, a lot of tie-ins to the games. There was quite a few nods even to the previous Tomb Raider games. There's flashbacks to when she's little talking with her father, and she has the French braid hairstyle, an inspiration from the previous Tomb Raider games. Tomb Raider lore incorporated all throughout this film, but definitely sets it up for a second film, which I cannot wait for, because she really sold me on her being Tomb Raider. I know like a lot of people it's not, but I think it's also how they wrote the script.
Cool. I guess next up, Any Way Out just released. At the time of this recording, it hasn't released yet, but it will be out March 23rd. And again, we're really excited about this one because this is a very co-op specific game. Probably the likes we haven't seen since maybe Army of Two. And so we're really excited about it. As far as we know, because Any Way Out had a couple of previews with Outside Xbox a couple weeks back, but it looks like there's going to be roughly 7 to 8 hours of gameplay, which is awesome. And it's a split screen co-op mode. And the director himself, Josef Fares, recommended that couch co-op is going to be much more meaningful of an experience because you have mutual decisions that you guys have to do together in order to really make it through. There are decision trees where if you do something one way, it results in something's happening. So you can either go loud and fast or slow and stealthy depending on your character. So you kind of had that same dynamic like Rios and Salem in the first Army of Two games when they were still good. But each character does have their own dialogue and they react to their environments in different ways. And so depending on who you're playing, where you're at, and what type of scenario that ultimately that you two hopefully decide together, that will change some of the things going on with the story. And it just makes for some really exciting gameplay. There's a specific part with the Outside Xbox team where they had escaped a hospital of some sort and fled into the woods. They were standing in the middle of this pond and just an animation, I guess, where they can just splash in the water. And they just spent about a good minute just splashing away. And I'm like, oh, this is so adorable. But yeah, this is a really wonderful game we're looking forward to. We'll hopefully either have a full review or give you our first impressions with our April 8th episode, which is coincidentally episode 50. So be on the lookout for that, guys. So we definitely recommend, if you know that you're a fan of co-op, you want to try at least pick up this game and check it out, and let's compare notes and see what you have to say.
So what about the Sims 4 Pets expansion?
So EA, in their infinite wisdom, decided to release the Sims 4 My First Pet expansion, which is an expansion pack for The Sims Cats and Dogs, which just released not too long ago. So
isn't that a little redundant?
Yeah. So in order to utilize the fullness of this, I think it's a stuff pack. I can't keep up with them anymore. You have to have cats and dogs in order to unlock most of the content in My First Pet stuff. Rather than in previous titles where usually EA always released a pets expansion that had stuff for dogs, cats, horses, small rodents, snakes, whatever. Gamers are not happy, understandably, because once again, it's one more example of EA fucking up as usual. You have DLC for the DLC, and it's kind of a shitty thing that they've taken out content that really could have been in the original game pack for that, and piecing that out and be like, well, we're gonna put all the cats and dogs stuff in the real game, and then if y'all want everything else, you can buy this for $10 extra. And
how about I go back to Sims 2 and 3 and call it a day?
Right. I don't think any other person could sum up as frustrated as people feel. If you go watch Lazy Game Reviewer, his video on this stuff pack is spot on, and I think it's pretty representative of how the Sims community feels, the way that EA has been shafting players, especially since Sims 4 has released and all the piecemeal content that we've been getting over time. But it's troubling because if this thing is successful, there's a chance this could be a new pricing model for EA. And one thing that Lazy Lazy Game Reviewer sort of question was, is this going to be the new pricing model in the future? Is EA testing the waters to see if this is successful? And if they are, is this what we're going to see down the line, where they take content that easily could be in the same game or expansion, kind of like what we saw with Parenthood and then toddler stuff and kid stuff, like all of that should have been in the same expansion or stuff pack. But for now, what we recommend, don't buy it. Don't waste your money. Donate that $10 to a shelter. I think at the end of Lazy Game Reviewer's video, he has a link where you can donate money to a shelter in need, and just wait for mods. I think people have already created mods to unlock that stuff, so you can have your rodents.
Like you should be.
Like you should, because EA has been on some shit lately, and this is not helping at all. So good job, EA. Y'all have really done a bang-up job this generation. It's wonderful.
They want to fuck up, go ahead, because someone's about to reap the benefits of their failure.
Yep,
so.
And I have a feeling Star Wars is going to get moved entirely at this rate, because EA
you know what?
is screwing themselves in the foot. And I'm ready for the whole ship to explode at this point.
Man, if LucasArts was still in the market, I would still be very fine for them to come back and take it over. Or just for Disney to hire their own version of LucasArts to take care of it. Like, why not at this rate?
I think at some point we'll probably have a conversation about EA, and especially with 2018, because with the way things have been going with Anthem, it's not looking good for BioWare. It's not looking good for Anthem. And I'm really worried and very concerned about other developers within their company that are going to get bit in the ass because of their stupid decisions. So,
yeah.
Fun times. Anyway, in more positive news, we attended Women of WonderCon convention on March 10th. So, Tiff, you want to talk about that real quick?
It was such a great convention. This used to be like a women's conference. They used to be in Denton, but they finally just went through a rebranding to get ideas how to nerd out, but also to be successful, especially if you're trying to run a business. There was people of color and LGBTQ plus panel as well, talking about, of course, diversity in any kinds of fandom, and how you can be represented, or this can be like a turning point of having equal representation in the media in all aspects, especially in comic books, which has been lacking since its conception. A lot of these women wanted to put their work out there. What did you think about it, Mia?
I enjoyed it. It was a very life-affirming event because it allowed for female creators of all types, whether it's theater, film, art, writing, to get together and kind of uplift each other and share the frustrations of being a woman in a creative industry and the bullshit that goes on. One of my favorite parts was a diversity panel, not only because it highlighted some really awesome and amazing issues that go on in terms of that lack of representation and the need for more visibility for trans women, LGBT women, etc. But I think because you got to see people just be people first and foremost, and they were just very down to earth, easy and chill to talk to, and they just seemed very relatable. And it's like, finally, someone gets it. They understand how important intersectionality is and understanding how those things come together and need to be talked about more. The keynote speaker, Caitlin, was a badass.
She was the double of Wonder Woman in the film. She's had years of karate experience behind her to where like she was winning all kinds of championships. Start with Jackie Chan in the movie, and don't let the tropes of, oh, you're a girl ever get into your way, because women need to go to events like this to feel empowered. There was a woman at one of the panels about wanting to start your own business and what you have to do. And there was a woman that was talking about how she had like a bunch of male friends that were holding her back, but you really don't know until you try. So that's essentially what this convention is so life affirming about. There's other women here that are succeeding, and you can also succeed if you wanted to too. More conventions like this need to happen.
And they did the Guinness World Record meetup of the most female superheroes in one area, and so we didn't get to stay for that, unfortunately, because we had other things going on. But we really do appreciate the organizers because they were wonderful and actually invited us to join their planning committee for next year. So we're really excited to be hopefully a part of it. So, and then we attended AllCon March 15th through the 18th in Addison, Texas. And we ended up changing hotel venues this year with some mixed results.
Yeah.
One of the things about AllCon that we love about it is that it is a relatively smaller con that focuses on being a nerd. It's not about the commercialism. It's not about spending money and celebrities and whatnot. It's just about having a good time and sharing in your collective nerdiness. But on the other end, it's growing. and quickly outgrowing its home hotel that it's been at for several years. So they've been trying out different venues with varying success. This most recent one was great in terms of the layout and trying to get people spaced out and get into panels, but there were a lot of issues because of renovations happening.
Yeah.
The hotel did not tell the organizers that they were changing their name, notify them until the day of the event.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
But we did have a good time. We participated in the Harry Potter Common Room events. Unfortunately, we did the best we could, but Slytherin ended up winning the House Cup this year.
Yeah.
But congratulations to them, because I think they were largely underrepresented last year when we attended Infinicon. So it was kind of nice. We had a lot more people join the Common Room and get involved in the Harry Potter activities. So it was nice. We made some really cool friends. We had a panel and we ran into a couple of our old friends like Kevin from Tweage and Tech Force. We always run into Tech
all the time.
Tiff, what were your favorite parts?
Besides for the Harry Potter Common Room, I just liked how this convention was more focusing on just socializing with our friends. I definitely loved the panel about ships that never succeed, or ships you have wishful thinking of. Yeah, I have like 10 of those. I also enjoyed panels about doing your own cosplay and trying to learn the tricks and trades on where to go, get inspiration for ideas, but it seems like it's doable. I just like when you get to attend cons a lot and you see the same people there, that bond and that friendship is developed. We got to see Martha, which was a great highlight too. And we also saw like friend Cassie there, who likes to sell the Pokemon terraniums. So yeah, I just like the bonds that come out of these cons. What about you?
I really liked it. Felt like we were coming home. We had people recognize us from the Common Room stuff, but just in general, we had people recognize us from when we've attended before. It was kind of nice to know that, wow, we've made friends with people who I remember seeing you last year, and you know, bonding over that. So that was really awesome. We got to hang out with friends. I love our Hufflepuff crew because they were really awesome. Tyler, you were the best prefect ever.
Yes.
He was really trying to root for us during some of the challenges in the trivia. He was really stepping it up for us, so really appreciate that. But yeah, the panels were really informative. I love the shipping one. One of the things I love about AllCon is even though these are all volunteers, they have a lot of really expert knowledge and picked up some really valuable information, so that was really nice. AllCon is always a very low-key event, so if you ever want to go to a nerd convention, AllCon is a great starter for that, and honestly, AllCon is one of the best ones, period.
Right.
So we have no complaints whatsoever.
And especially if you have anxiety, if you're not really sure about large crowds, this is definitely a good convention start.
They should be announcing some information about Infinicon hopefully pretty soon, because that will take place in August. So if you register early, you get discounts. So, and then in other news, Texas Latino Comic Con will be happening July 28th at the Latino Cultural Center in Dallas, and it's free. So
stellar.
Please spread the word, because this is an important event, especially in terms of representation. And one of the organizers actually was at Women of WonderCon and is also volunteer panelist. She does a lot of really cool things, but should definitely spread the word, because there's plenty of Latino nerds out there that need to feel represented and have a place to just express themselves. So yeah.
Agreement.
Okay, so I think that's all we have for news. As always, if you ever want the most updated news, go see our friends at This Week in Our Collective Heads or Tweetch. Tell them we sent you and that we said hello. But yeah, Tiff, are you ready to level up?
Of my own will, yes I am.
Woohoo! Let's level up! Alright, so for today's Tandem Topic Tea Time, we are going to discuss Volition games and why they're wonderful. One of the reasons why we wanted to profile them is they have a specific place in our hearts, being that they're the creators of the Saints Row series. There's a specific type of reputation that Volition seems to have that is unique to them in the way they're kind of underrated gaming developers. So to start off with, let's talk about some of their origins. Volition, of course, was a subsidiary that came to be in 1996. It was born when two companies, Parallax Software, Volition, and Outrage Entertainment, split apart, and unfortunately Outrage became defunct in 2004, but they did certain games like Descent 3, Red Faction 2, Alter Ego, etc. So that's where Volition came from. Before, they were under Interplay Entertainment, which they then developed Free Space, which was a space simulation game. So
oh my gosh, could you imagine if it still came out like Farming Simulator?
Oh, God.
Like gave Farming simulator a run for its money.
Yeah,
I still can't believe that's a thing now.
But with 80s theme song.
Oh my
soundtrack.
God.
But then Interplay was starting to head towards bankruptcy, and you're going to see a pattern with this. But when Interplay was starting to go bankrupt, THQ decided to pick up Volition sometime in 2000. And then from then on, THQ served as their publisher for their games. So they helped Volition get on their feet in the early 2000s. Tiff, do you want to talk about some of their games they came out with?
Certainly. It's been a while since the aughts had come to a close that you don't really get to see a lot of these series anymore. One I did not realize that they had was the Summoner series, an action fantasy RPG. Also the Red Faction series, which I'm sure a lot of us have heard or seen on the shelf somewhere. The shooter game set on Mars. And of course, Saints Row universe, the action adventure game based on the Third Street Saints. So THQ unfortunately had gone bankrupt in 2013 when Volition was bought by Koch Media under the umbrella of the Deep Silver brand, which they currently still are. Under that developer, they published the new IP, Agents of Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there was a ton of disappointment when it came to Agents of Mayhem. So, with that being said, THQ was bought by Nordic, and Nordic formed, of course, THQ Nordic. So now they bought back Koch Media, which means that now Saints Row is technically back under their umbrella. So they had also mentioned the possibility that there is a new Saints Row title in the works now. So that is super exciting. And it makes us wonder also if it will be set after the Saints Row got out of hell, everything has been reset. That's the reason why we have Agents of Mayhem, but will it be still set in that same world as Agents of Mayhem? Like, will we see the different agents? That'll be a curious thing to see, the hybrid between the two. But what stands out in your mind when you think about Volition?
I think Saints Row.
Pretty much.
I mean, really, the Volition brand as a whole has become synonymous with Saints Row. That is probably their biggest selling series, bar none. They have the unfortunate moniker also of being the GTA clone, fortunately. But like we had talked about in our episode, When the Saints Go Marching In, when we talk about Saints Row in the series, Volition really went about their way of trying to make this game as distinctive as possible from the GTA series. And they put a spin on it in a way that was very unique to them. One of the biggest difference is the humor.
Right.
Even though GTA and Saints Row do have a certain shared type of humor where it's a little bit gross, a little bit juvenile, a bit snarky, but where the past sort of started to divulge was in the way that they approached said humor. GTA was more satire, where it was a lot of biting commentary about the state of our current political climate, the government, the way that we consume media and whatnot.
Or even our entertainment too.
Yeah.
See that too.
A lot of self-aware sort of jokes and references. But Saints Row is their lowbrow, if you want to put it that way. But they embrace that. Like, oh, we're going to be silly and juvenile, and it's okay. We're just going to ham it up.
We're silly and we're proud of it.
We've seen instances of this in the way they utilize music in their cutscenes and some of the activities and stuff like that. So it's designed to be strictly fun. You don't have to take it so seriously. One of the things that they also did to make their game stand apart was character customization and story.
Yes.
They did such a wonderful job placing yourself as a character within the plot of the story. You could change your gender, customize your voice and your hair, your clothing and the cars. So you could truly make it your own and be as silly and as sociopathic as you wanted to be.
Yes.
Especially with the Saints Row series and how the boss can vary. And they even make references to that where Johnny's like, oh, you changed your hair or something. No, I got blown up in a boating accident, but thank you for pointing that out. And they don't make a big deal about it. It's like, okay, you were a dude, so now you're a woman. No big deal. Cool, you look nice.
Pressing on.
And another thing that made the Volition games stand out is they made their games more co-op friendly. Saints Row especially is known for its co-op and multiplayer modes, especially amongst older fans. Those are some of the hallmarks of the early Saints Row games, and some of the things we often lament about in later games is like, where's the co-op? Where's the multiplayer? Bring that back. And then another thing was introducing characters that really could evolve the plot. They were silly and campy in their own way, but they had enough depth that it allowed for players to have loyalty and dedication to them. They made their characters realistic, but yet endearing as well. Even their villains are very well written, despite the fact that they have some really messed up tendencies. But for example, Johnny Gat, I don't know any other company that could sell Johnny Gat as an entity and make him pretty much the face of the entire franchise. It's not our boss that marks how well the series is. It's the characters, and Johnny Gat is the face of Saints Row. So what about the Red Faction series, Tiff?
The Red Faction series was a series known for destructible people and altered environments from terrains or terraforming. This helped pioneer other games, this type of feature like Battlefield, Bad Company. But this was the tie between Red Faction and the Saints Row series, because guess what they have in common? Ultor! The Ultor Corporation was the big mining company there on Mars. Red Faction was set in the future, but of course you realize that back on Earth, Ultor was up there fucking up shit too. Unfortunately, had not been able to play much of Red Faction, so I'm eager to try and get into that series to see what the difference is. But it just seems like a good game. Bullshit up on Mars sounds like a good deal to me. But unfortunately, the Red Faction series kind of slowed down 6-7 years ago. So unfortunately, I don't know if we'll ever get another one, but it'll be nice to see one to come down the pike.
And it would be wonderful if it actually could get released by Volition, if they could pick up from the franchise and sort of rehash some of the lore, especially now that Saints Row 3 and 4 have been entered into the mix and we have Dane Vogel literally showing up in hell.
Anything's possible right now because now the button's reset.
Yeah, especially because Ultor started off as this clothing company in the Saints Row series, and they grew into this mega conglomerate that's partially responsible for the gentrification going on in Saints Row, and now they're on Mars. So clearly they've evolved even more from there, telling who's really responsible for all that happening.
So are you telling me that Amazon is going to have a mining company on Mars or the moon or wherever they choose to go?
We're going to Saturn. Fuck Mars. That's where we're going with Amazon at this rate with all that money. We're going to Saturn. And so the Red Faction series, when that comes to mind, though, the main thing I think of from other gamers is the destructible environments and how much shit you can blow up. So I'm itching to try out. It did sort of influence other games that started using that technology on different platforms.
Beat that Just Cause. Like, Just Cause is Red Faction. How about that?
Red Faction influenced Just Cause with the exploding destructible environment. It influenced a lot of games, especially with the way that you can terraform things, and that was some pretty unique gameplay. So Volition does a really good job at making their games unique. They take something that's simple and standard that you would see, that you could probably call even a trope in some genres of games, but they make it their own. They have their own specific stamp. They don't have a ton of games, unfortunately, other than the Saints Row series, but what they do have, they make it unique. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the other things about Volition we've noticed, good, bad, and different. But one of the things that we did notice, Volition as a whole, maybe other than Agents of Mayhem debacle and the way that went down, but as a whole, it seems like Volition has a good reputation with its player fan base. It's a relatively smaller development company, and it recently underwent some layoffs after Agents of Mayhem's release.
Fortunately.
But as a whole, it seems like Volition does better about respecting their players and trying to listen to them in most aspects. One of the things we've noticed is they do regularly engage with their fans through social media, through YouTube. They've done a lot of Let's Plays. They've done playthroughs of other people's titles. They'll just have their creators on there doing a hangout and chatting with fans and stuff like that and taking questions on Twitch. So it's really cool. Another thing is they're very supportive of mods and the modding community and the creativity that goes in. Saints Row 4 is alive and kicking, especially on PC. And so every month they've had different modding challenges, and some of the stuff that they've seen in game, they've actually used as inspiration for some of the stuff that you see either in Saints Row or even I think Agents of Mayhem was inspired by stuff that fans had created. That's pretty fucking cool. I don't know how many other developers have that level of comfort maybe with their players. Interest. And it seems like there's a genuine love for their games, which you don't really see that much anymore.
That used to be The Sims' big thing, and that's not anymore.
Maxis used to be like that. They were doing well and got swallowed up by EA, and look where they are now. But yeah, it's kind of our theory that some of the flack behind Agents of Mayhem and some of the decisions that went into that may be a result of the demands from Deep Silver and what they've been wanting, because like we said before, it just didn't make sense for some of their games to be missing key content that had been present in other Saints Row or other Volition titles, but not in Agents of Mayhem. So with Agents of Mayhem especially, you could see that sort of stamp of this is our thing, embracing that Saturday morning cartoon cheesiness and 80s inspired music and the silly quotes and stuff from their characters. And like I said, what they did well was the character development, surprisingly, and making them compelling and interesting and diverse. They did a great job of that. And you could tell that's where Volition, their sweet spot is. So what else have we noticed, Tiff?
They also like to do co-op and multiplayer modes on most of their games. This was like big deal. It gives you that option. Run around and do hood rat things with your friends, with their actual friends. Also, what they like to do is give a balance of fun and interesting characters in their gameplay. Because a lot of the characters that you do play with that are either your homies or your enemies, people that you will never forget about. Even Josh Burke. You can't because you hate him so much, but that character never goes away because of Nightblade. Mia's about to log into Saints Row 3 and blow him up, which definitely sets it apart as they really dwell on the point to have fun with their gameplay. You can also see the separation between, Saints Row 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, how outrageous things get. But you can tell by that time when they know that their ship was sinking that they were just going to go all out, but have fun with the series. Also, the games have ultimate wish fulfillment, especially in the later games. You want to act with Burt Reynolds, you got that too. A fully stocked, over-the-top birthday present. So I think that's really great.
And another thing in terms of wish fulfillment, the diversity. You can play as pretty much any race. Saints Row was one of the first games where they had specific voices to match the racial tone and stuff like that. So if you wanted a more Latina sounding person, you could have that.
Get it.
You can change your gender at will. You can change your clothing, and you can wear male and female clothing. The sky's limitless in their mind. So there's just so much customization and stuff that you could do in the game that really had not existed as much in other games, which is a shame, unfortunately, but it just showed Saints Row wanted to make the games as inclusive as they could to a wide variety of people, and they did it in the simplest way possible. And yeah, you could be the biggest badass in not just Stillwater, but the world and even the galaxy even.
And you can do that without clothes.
Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. So
I do what I want.
Yeah, you get to live that Saturday morning cartoon fantasy, which is really cool. But another thing, and this is something that is very unique to Volition, as a whole, it just seems like the employees have a good sense of humor about their games, and in general, they're invested in the games that they are making. It's not just, let's make a lot of money, put in microtransactions and all this other stuff. And while that is a problem with the later games, you could tell that they do put their heart and soul into making these games as fun and as campy as they can, because, they want you to have a good time. If you follow their YouTube channel, especially with some of their gameplay videos, they released an early demo of Saints Row 3 before a lot of the details had been added on there, and you could see the enthusiasm and how much they're proud of the work that they do. They're proud of their fan base and how much that we respond to them, and for the community for keeping this franchise and Volition as a whole alive, because as you know, THQ, with them going bankrupt, there was no guarantee that Volition was even going to come back, and maybe I think through word of mouth and their fan base, it happened to save Volition from completely going kaput. Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4 showed that, and it actually grew the fan base and bringing in a new generation of audiences, and you could tell that their creators are very mindful of that. They know their stuff as a whole when it comes to games and the gaming industry. I think Jim Boone's return and some of his remarks about Agents of Mayhem and the things that happen with that show they really know their stuff. They know their market. They know their fan base and what they can do better. So hopefully Agents of Mayhem is kind of a one-off, like, okay, we screwed up. But again, I feel like that's much more put all the blame on Deep Silver, but I think they were largely they were largely influenced by Deep Silver to pare down the game. There might have been more in store in terms of DLC, but we're not going to get that. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know if Agents of Mayhem was a blessing or a curse, but it did teach us what can happen when a beloved franchise or a company is pressured or forced to step outside of their wheelhouse or do things that really doesn't make sense in the context of their fan base.
Like BioWare.
Yeah. So Volition can take what can be considered a copycat content, a copycat game, but still put enough bits and pieces in it to make it theirs and make it feel distinctive and fun. And they do that very, very well. So we highly recommend you get a chance to play Saints Row. Of course, we recommend 2. And then Red Faction, get to blow shit up. Like, who does not want to do the thing? And in space. So, Tiff, are there some things that you'd like to see from Volition?
Well, speaking of which, let's go into the Wheel of Random Tandem.
Woo-woo! Let's do it! All right. So for today's Wheel of Random Tandem, Tiff, in regards to my last question, what do you wish for Volition in the future? What are things that you would love for Volition to be able to do from here on out?
On top of just happiness and prosperity, Agents of Mayhem was just a little bleep in the road that they can keep on going. They're given a second chance. But hopefully with this, they can get a little bit more solid ground and rebuild from there. With that being said, what I would like to see is, as much as I do love Saints Row and the Saints Row universe, that is a very lonely universe. Volition, I know they can only handle as much as they can at one time. If you cannot take care of one franchise, then why have more? So it's probably a blessing and a curse right now that they have had only the Saints Row games until they can get a little bit of rapport and maybe reach for another vine as they're swinging across this precipice. But what I'm hoping maybe in the future, and this of course could be within a 5 to 10 year standpoint, I would like for them to have more games outside of the Saints Row universe once they get comfortable doing that again. But I also was thinking this too, like maybe doing Summoner 3 or even like a reboot to the series. As much as I hate the concept of reboots, there are quite a few reboots in the series of games that have been rebooted that have completely blown me out of the water. Tomb Raider is one of them. So if it's done well, there might be a good second chance to redeem like a series that they already have. And also just look into any other IPs that might be interesting down the pike that's separate from the Saints Row series to kind of give us a break from that. In hindsight, it seems like Saints Row is being released on the cycle of 2 or 3 years, which is pretty standard for a lot of game series out there. It'll be nice to see something else like coming out alternately from the company to breathe a little bit more life into it and see it grow a little bit more robust. So I'm open to the concept. I'm okay with anything they're willing to bring out into the world outside of Saints Row. So the sky's the limit. It could be a puzzle game if they wanted to. So I'm open to what they got. What about you?
Kind of the same. When I found out about Summoner, I was really shocked because I had no idea they had even made this game. And now that I think about it, it kind of makes sense in the context of where their games have come from Summoner all the way to Saints Row, because in a way it is an RPG. You get to customize your characters and level up to kind of get you boosting forward. But I would really love to see more RPG focused games set in other universes, kind of like what you had said. I have never had a chance to play Summoner, but reading through it, it looks like it's kind of a cross between maybe Dragon Age and Jade Empire to a certain extent, Final Fantasy-ish without being too, I don't know, like anime-ish, I guess. But from what I've heard, the story is really solid. The gameplay is pretty solid as well. So I would love to see something like that, especially because it seems like Volition does RPG elements very well. Even Saints Row 1 and 2 have RPG elements in them when you really think about it. But they do it in a way where it's fun and you don't think about it as an RPG. But really, I mean, that's literally what you're doing. Playing as this boss and you're taking over territory and you're leveling up your content and your abilities. So yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see more of their games have co-op and multiplayer, because there are camps where multiplayer is their wheelhouse, kind of like the Saints Row 1 fans especially. But people like us, we came in with Saints Row 2 and that's where the co-op stuff started taking hold. So anything with more co-op especially, love that. So yeah, keep doing what y'all are doing. So for final thoughts, Tiff, do you have anything?
Those socials, though, don't ignore them just because they're socials. But that Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Tumblr, please come and interact.
As for new followers, we have Chica Peligrosa, Next of Ken, Tamika Newhouse, and Adam's Apple Games from Twitter. So thank you guys for following us, and we hope we don't scare you off, although we make no promises. So as for commenters, we have Mark Roma and Cheyenne Uwulu from Pretty Brown and Nerdy. Thank you so much. And then for special shout outs, we have Women of WonderCon, of course. Again, thank you guys so much for a wonderful convention. I got my whole life. I lost 10 years of the stress that I've been dealing with forever. Going there and meeting awesome people. Show Enough Studios, because we didn't get to actually talk to them, but they were there. Hi, we miss you. Halo Tunes, Mark Roma, Next of Kin, and RPG Gameplay. Thank you guys. Y'all are awesome, and we love you so much. So, yeah. So, Tiff, who's your PYT for this week?
Mine, and I chose this because Star Wars The Last Jedi is coming out as of this week when this podcast hits. So, I chose The Lore Master. And the Lore Master is a YouTube channel that has coverage on everything in Star Wars universe. And they do have the distinction now of putting what is now considered legends and what is considered canonized. So if you ever have any questions to like how Darth Vader reacted after episode 3, when did Vader ever learn that Luke was his son? done. Stuff like that, and have the knowledge and stuff like that to back it up. They have done plays of Battlefront, but definitely that fill-in lore, if you're ever curious about what happened in between these parts, especially what used to exist, this is a good channel for you to go to. And their episodes are not that long. I thought that was neat. What about you?
I had to choose Elia in a Box. She's an artist on YouTube and she does stuff around the area. She was actually at Women of WonderCon, but she's an artist illustrator who does different types of videos. One of my favorites is Drawing Disasters or Drunk Disasters, where she and some of her artist friends will get together and drink and draw, and it turns out there's some really funny experiences that go on with her videos. One of the videos I got to watch, she has this thing about butts.
Yes, she does.
She's very funny, very relatable, and she has no chill. One of her best quotes was, "If you don't have confidence, just drink a lot." You know what? That's
liquid
smart.
Motherfucking courage.
Yeah,
that's what.
You don't have to be the best at what you do, but if you have enough confidence, you can tackle anything. You damn right, girl. Yes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely follow her. She is hilarious, and she's a really good artist and an awesome person. She's also in charge of the Latino Comic-Con, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you ever saw like the Women of WonderCon's logo, she did that.
Mm-hmm. She designed it. She's so talented.
So talented, and I want to buy all her shit. Mm-hmm. It's real.
So as for events, we have Fan Expo Dallas coming up April 6th through the 8th in Dallas, Texas. I'll also be at the TCC South Campus Anime Expo April 14th in Fort Worth. Comic Palooza Houston, we're still trying to work out the details on that one, but it's going to be Memorial Day weekend, May 25th through the 27th in Houston. And then we have ArlingCon June 30th in Arlington, Texas. Let's Play Gaming Expo July 27th through the 29th in Irving, and Infinicon August 3rd through the 5th in Addison, Texas. Hopefully we'll get our old hotel back. And then last but not least, we have QuakeCon August 9th through the 12th in Grapevine. So we'll be coming back for more fun, and I hope Harley is there.
I didn't see him last year, but then again, I was kind of like a duck and weave kind of person, but this year will be a lot better.
So yeah, our next episode will be April 8th, the weekend that Comic-Con ends, but it'll be our 50th episode.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this stuff can start registering for AARP. It's getting real now.
Ooh, old.
At least the episodes have.
But this episode is very special to us because we do a collaboration with Martha Marie from YouTube. She's the queen of Otome, and we had some really awesome conversations with her, so we cannot wait.
Out fangirl session. I'm surprised people did not come knocking on our door. We were so entertained with ourselves.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a great episode, and we cannot wait to share that with you guys.
Mm-hmm. So, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed because the subscribed people get their stuff first. Yay. And you know when the new episodes are available. And if you like what you hear, if this is your first time, please feel free to share with others because we're out here and we would like to grow. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening.
If anything else, everyone be cool out there, stay game-tastic, have a great Friday and Easter, and play your freaking bloody heart out.
And game responsibly.
Game responsibly. I keep thinking about that Jules song, the Intuition song, but I keep wanting to say Volition because of this.
Follow your heart, your
volition. It will point you in the right direction. Why not? Thanks, Todd.
Don't sue us, Jewel. We're poor.
We are poor as fuck.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. Bye.